welcome back to part 2 of Expert Talk Extra. We are doing a marathon live stream, and don't ask me what I was thinking. My good friend that's coming up next, Scott Carson, sent me a text message saying, yeah, new technology, starting a live stream, not a good idea, especially in a marathon. Where was he when all this started? You know what? I'm going to ask him.
Drinking some coffee. That's what I was doing.
Over there just laughing at me, drinking some coffee, thinking she has lost her mind. But this is all your fault.
I know. You can blame me for all the issues.
You.
That's what everybody else does. So you might as well jump on that gravy train.
I mean, but you made it look so easy when you did it for the International Podcast Day. I was like, oh, that looks like so much fun. I got to get in on that. And we've been talking about doing live streams. What a better way to start a live stream. You should have texted me and smacked me upside the head digitally or something and told me I don't know.
Well, you're an expert. I mean, you're up here. You're in the summit when it comes to, you're in the rare air with all the video you do, Tigo. So that's the thing. You know what? We all have to learn. I mean, I've been lucky enough to do virtual events for years and live streamed them for going on 6 years now. We've done some 8-hour events, 27-hour live streams with like 40 different speakers. And I get it. It's just, you know what? When you add new technology, I'm a big believer in KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, or in my term, keep it simple, Scott. Okay. So give me a Calendly link and a Zoom link, and I got it a virtual event. And then then I'm golden from there. All this fancy with StreamYard or Restream, I can always hit the replay button later on after I'm done. But anyway, honored to be here today. And looking back, I've been watching some of the videos that you've been uploading. Great stuff. They're great speakers, and I'm honored to be part of the afternoon live stream.
Oh, thank you so much. And, the key to what you just said is video. See, video, there's a little thing called cutting and editing. And, you get to, pick out the stuff that you want to do. When it's live, it's live. You can't hide it. You can't. If I'm wrinkled, people just leave me wrinkled, okay? If there's something wrong, I can't leave for 4 more hours. I am right here, I got Rhino Julie's coming up later, and she said she'd be my sidekick, and I'm like, I should have taken her up on that one, because hello. But let's talk about the Note Guy, or as I know you and love you so, the Note Jedi. Let's talk about what you do, how you do it. You are a real estate expert of sorts. You're a different kind of real estate expert.
Yeah, I mean, for the last 12 years, I've been the kind of an expert in buying and investing in distressed debt, distressed mortgages. Obviously, we went through the Great Recession back 12 years ago with 15 million American homeowners underwater who owed more in their mortgage, owed more in their house than what it was worth. Mm-hmm. And we're not quite there yet, but that's what I've made a name for myself, as being the Note Guy, because I embrace video. I believe we're all in the media business to begin with, so I treated a lot of my content as a media outlet, sharing daily activities, sharing little blogs, little Facebook lives. When we had this, I used to work on a flip camera from Dell. If you remember the flip cameras back in the day, I still got 2 of them floating around here somewhere, but just sharing my struggles on a day in, day out basis is just being an average Joe struggling like most entrepreneurs to find their way in this crazy, chaotic space at the time. And that's just evolved over the last, like I said, 12 years, where I'm an expert in my industry. We've got a podcast called The Note Closer Show that we just surpassed the 1 million download mark in the last 3 years. Wow. A lot of video. And then that's the thing. It's just, we deliver content. I'm a real guy. I make mistakes. It ain't perfect. I'm sweating. I mean, you should see my haircut. This looks good now, but without the gel, it looks like a rooster top. It looks horrible. It's the worst haircut ever. Thank God I got enough gel in here. Don't let me near an open flame, though.
Okay, if I see a T-shirt with the Note Rooster on it, I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna hurt you. So you came on Expert Talk, and everybody can go and check it out. Let me. I'll drop the banner up there so you know where to go. But you came on Expert Talk not too long ago and was a guest, and I want to thank you for that. And you're actually a part of our summit because you teach what you do. So let's go back a little bit and talk about exactly what it is you do. You are the note guy. And what's a note? Because you're not singing. I don't think you sing.
La-di-da-di. No,
Oh,
we
okay.
like the potty hottie. Now, the note business is basically we buy debt. We buy mortgages on residential, commercial properties. We buy it direct from banks. So we're not dealing with technically the public. Like I'm not a realtor. I'm not a mortgage broker. I mean, even though I was a mortgage banker back in the day before I got into what I'm doing now, but we're actually buying debt from the banks. That's where somebody hasn't paid in 6 months to 6 years. A lot of times we buy that debt at a substantial discount because the bank or the lending institution wants to get something now and let us deal with their nightmares or their headaches. And we make our money because we all love money. All right. But we like to do good though. Our biggest goal in making money is to reach back out to the borrower and say, hey, Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones, whatever it is, we know you've been through a rough time. Do you want to stay or do you want to go? Because if you want to stay, pay, stay. You've got to come up with something. We got to come up with some sort of plan. But since we buy the debt at big discounts, it gives us a lot of flexibility to really create a win-win scenario in keeping people in their house. So we may need to modify their loan. We may offer them cash to walk away if they can't come up with a payment plan that makes sense on both sides. There's a lot of things that we do. I have a borrower that reached out today who hasn't paid in 6 months because everything going on with COVID, and we're actually going to forgive about 10 grand off of her loan.
Wow.
And she's actually worked out a payoff plan. And I'm like, I'll take a little bit of loss of what you owe because I bought the debt at 30 cents on the dollar. I'm willing to give you 10 cents of the full amount.
Wait. 30 cents on the dollar. Somebody right now is going, I want to get in that business. You bought it at 30 cents on the dollar. Is that normal or is that because of the situation we're in right now with COVID?
She hadn't paid in quite a while. So let's just put it that way. She hadn't paid. And the further behind somebody is on their mortgage, the steeper the discount we can get by buying that debt. Okay. So we bought her loan a year ago at 30 cents on the dollar. She paid for a while. We got her back on track. And then she basically hit the COVID wagon like anybody else, got laid off and is back to work. But she's put together some money from friends and family to pay off her loan. I'm like, oh, that's fine. She owed 60. We paid 20 for it. Her house was worth about 80. And she was behind and she wanted to stay in the house. So she had this equity. So we were willing to work with her. She's paid on time for a while, then got laid off 6 months again behind. So I think we're going to end up accepting 45, something like that from her. And still like double our money, but also it's a good win for her too. She gets to keep her home and she's also gets a discount what she owes.
Now they can't just call you because we had you on the show and we talked about this and you said, no, you cannot just call me and say, come by my house. So how do they, if they're in a stressful situation, which a lot of people throughout the United States and the world is right now, how do they find out if that's even an option or can they even find out if it's an option?
It's not, a bank is not going to sell you your note at a discount, especially like if I call Chase Bank, who owns my mortgage, they're not going to sell to me at a discount. They just don't do that. Now, that's why I don't deal with the borrowers on the front end. We deal directly with banks. So banks send us lists of their loans that are in default or distress, whether it's residential, commercial property. We get lists on a monthly or quarterly basis from a variety of, and we cherry pick those lists or we'll buy in bulk. And then one of the things that we do is if anybody's ever bought a house and got a mortgage, usually about 30 days later, they got a letter in the mail saying their mortgage had been sold, right? Mm-hmm. You're not paying ABC Bank. You're now paying Wachovia or Wells Fargo, whoever else might be, or some other institution. So here's the thing. If you are behind on your mortgage, I'll give you a little trick here. If you are behind your mortgage, haven't paid a few months, and suddenly you do get a letter that your mortgage has been sold, it's probably sold at a discount. I would call the new lender and try to negotiate a reduced payoff at that point. Okay. But if you are on time, the bank's not going to sell you your loan at a discount. They're going to keep it because you're on time. So I'm not telling you to go out and not pay. But if you get one of those letters that your mortgage has been sold, as long as it's not a government-backed loan or anything like that, and you get some off-the-wall name that you're not familiar with, or an LLC or something like that, it's probably an investor that bought your mortgage, and he or she would probably be willing to negotiate a short payoff with you and forgive some of that debt if you're willing to come to the table, can come to the table and either pay off or come and want to do a loan modification at the time.
So with everything going on with COVID, I've heard, all kinds of things like in December or something, it's going to be over. You're going to have to start paying your mortgage, blah, blah, blah. What's going to happen if somebody just did not pay? They said, I don't have to pay my mortgage right now. So they haven't paid their mortgage since March. And then in December, let's say that stops and the mortgage company can start collecting. Are they going to starting with December, or are they going back to March?
It all depends,
Okay.
Tigo. Now, if it's a government-backed loan, like a Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie Mac, or something like that, no surprise, they're actually willing to give people another 6 months of forbearance agreements. Most people don't know that. So if it's a government-backed loan, you could squeeze another 6 months out of non-payment. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. If you can pay your mortgage,
Right.
Because they'll often be willing to say, okay, so we're starting fresh now. We're just going to take the 6 months and add it to the back end of your loan. That's what's going to happen the majority of time, especially on owner-occupied loans and government-backed loans. It's the investor loans, the second loans, investment properties that aren't government-backed, that are facing foreclosure starts. They're facing, evictions if you're renting. But if you are renting and the house you're renting is a government-backed loan on it, your landlord can't evict you because they're not being forced to pay their mortgage either. So who knows? Something could happen. There could be something like what happened years ago, where they came up with the hardest hit funds, where they identified the 18 hardest hit states in the country with foreclosures and the mortgage meltdown 10 years ago. And they put billions of dollars into those states to incentivize them to give borrowers loan modification. So literally giving servicing companies or mortgage companies money to do a loan model. We may have that happen again. We've had one that is actually expiring December 31st that's been around for 10 years. So depending on who gets elected, we may see something like that. Who knows? I would be willing to bet that if Trump gets elected, he probably would put something like that, let the hardest hit fund end. That's from the Bush and Obama administrations, and coming up and kind of recalibrating and seeing what new states are being hit the hardest. It's what I expect to kind of happen, but who knows? As I talk to bankers on a daily basis, many of them are sitting around waiting and seeing what's going on, what's going to happen in the market these days.
So, I mean, we're doing a very short interview. I know you got a really busy schedule, and I'm so happy you could come by and just kind of hang out for a few minutes. But we did interview you not too long ago. So if people go and check out that interview, we go into your history, how you got into this. But I know right now somebody is going, I want to do what that guy does. And you teach this. That's why I mentioned you're in the summit, because you actually gave a course for the summit to put into the summit. How do they get in touch with you? How do they find out if they can be, the next Note Jedi?
So this is not for everybody. It is a little bit, it's not a get rich quick. It takes time in buying debt. You've got some things you need put in place here, but we have a lot of investors that are tired of being landlords, or they're tired of toilets, tenants, and trash outs. They want to get something a little bit more passivity, where they don't have to deal with, paint and carpet. And so notes are a great way to build cash flow and wealth. I mean, that's why banks are the biggest. They understand arbitrage. They'll gladly give you half a point for your savings, while they go out and lend it at 8 to 18% and make the money in between. So if you're interested, reach out to me at weclosenotes.com. If you go to like I said, I have a 1-day kind of dip your toe in the waters training called Note Weekend. If you go to noteweekend.com and use the discount code TGO, TGO, it'll give you that for free. And that's a $99 value. You are special.
I feel so special. So real quick, your radio show, when is it on? How do they catch it? Because you're actually syndicated. You're doing internet radio. So when is it on? How do they catch it?
Easiest thing is just to go to weclosenotes.com. And you'll be able to download every episode we do. We've had the podcast for 3 years now. So it's the Note Closers Show. We're on radio.com and all sorts of internet radio, basically any type of radio or podcasting platform. You can listen to the show at your favorite podcasting platform. So it's called the Note Closers Show is our main one. Or you can always find that at our main website, weclosenotes.com.
You are the best. I thank you so much, sir, for stopping by, hanging out, answering my call. Because it's like, hey, you want to go? He said, sure. As he's sitting over there laughing, going, watch what she gets into. Yeah, you could.
Hey, you know what? The hardest step on any journey is the first step. And
if you miss the curve, you hit your face.
Now it's not going to be hard. Yeah, you're going to hit your face, but you can't fall backwards by falling on your face. You can only fall forward. Fail forward, everybody.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks. Bye.